2020 has shed more light on so many darkness that has come before. Hello everyone and welcome to the 7th episode of Lina Rants with me, Lina Rants IG. Today I wanted to talk about something that's really been on my mind for a very long time, and is why 2020 is not cancelled. Listen, I know what you're gonna say, like 2020 sucks, this needs to end, I need to unsubscribe from this channel. I need to unsubscribe from 2020. I understand though, I understand. There's a lot of, how do I put this nicely? There's been a lot of shit going on, okay? You have the full package, from earthquakes to a missile to volcanoes. They mind. Black lives actually matter? Wow, it's 2020, Black Lives Matter, yeah. Women's rights movement is happening in the Middle East and is going and thriving. Let's go, girls. Oh, I feel like I'm forgetting something. Oh yeah, COVID-19. A whole lot pandemic that has closed down the entire economy and the entire world. Yeah, not a big deal. Sorry, forgot about COVID. Lina. But for real though, that's a lot to take in, you know? Everyone feels like their life is crumbling or has crumbled around them. Wherever you are in the world right now, even if you're privileged, there's something that's just probably gone wrong, you know? Maybe a few things. And you feel like you're living in hell, basically. I don't blame anybody for saying that they hate 2020, that they want it to be over already. But then let me just hit you with a even scarier question. How'd you know that 2021 won't be just as bad? 2020 is actually a very important year. You know, even though with all these horrible things that have happened globally, that's on top of every person's problem, you know, but there is a very big silver lining that's around 2020, and the whole world needed 2020. You're probably thinking like, okay, I'm signing out of this video, okay? What the hell is wrong with you, Lina? Like, why would you say that we needed a freaking pandemic that killed so many people and like has stopped the economy and then made people lose their money and kids are now dying and like... Relax. Just bear with me. Have you gone through a really tough time in your life? As a matter of factly, your answer should be yes. Each one of us has passed through a really tough time in their life, and that tough time could have been months, it could have been years, it could have been ever since you were born. But what I'm trying to get at is who you are today has a lot to do with mostly the bad things that happened to you. And as messed up as that sounds, it really is the truth. There's this quote that I've read on Instagram that really sums up basically what I'm gonna say right now. In order to love who you are, you cannot hate the experience that shaped you. Is a collective change for humanity. You know what 2020 did to us? 2020 is the mirror to the entire planet. There is 2020, it's a mirror, okay? And this is the earth. And the earth has come closer to the mirror, and it has seen itself with all it is, with all its ugly and all its good, and looked in the mirror for a very first time in a very, very, very long time. And what it saw was too much to handle, you know? No one was ready for it. No one was ready to come face to face to all the things that have been happening in the world, that we've all been looking away from because we're too scared to face, whether that be in your personal life or whether that be on a bigger scale. 2020 has been the ugly reflection of what we've been going through for a very long time. Now that we've slowed down, and I realized that we were just spiraling down, man. It's like America right now. It's like America spiraling down from top hill, and there's no stopping it right now. But what I'm trying to say is that we needed to slow down. And even though the slowing down required a horrendous pandemic that killed and affected billions and billions of lives around the world in such tragic ways, there's something that's called the greater good. And saying, well, you know, like we had to sacrifice all these people. The poor are the fuel for the rich and the middle class. No, that's not what I'm saying. Even though there's been a lot of rich people that have been taken down because of COVID-19. But what I'm trying to say is that sometimes we have to sacrifice a lot of things to have the greater, bigger picture for more people. And that's what's really happening right now. If we really slow down and look at the bigger picture and what was really happening in the world and what is really happening right now. By the way, racism and women abuse and injustice and corruption and the planet dying is not 2020 material. Y'all are freaking been living under a rock then if you don't know that those things have been going on for centuries. But what 2020 has done is it has slowed down everybody to look themselves in the mirror, strip down, and be like, hey, this is who you really are. Take a look. Do you like what you see? And of course we didn't like what we saw, right? And it's so easy for humans to point a finger at something. We've been pointing a finger at each other and other things, you know, throughout the years. Really, you should point a finger at yourself. I'm pointing a finger at myself right now because we all take part of having this planet that we have today. Because we have stayed quiet for too long. We have encouraged each other by staying silent. And so when you see someone else staying silent, you're like, okay, I'm just gonna stay quiet too. What I'm trying to tell you is that this is old news. What's good news is that 2020 has finally arrived with that mirror. Why? Because when you look yourself in the mirror and you don't like something, what do? You go and change it. You want to like what you see in the mirror, and so you're gonna do anything and everything it takes to change your reflection to something that you like. And that, my friend, is 2020. How many of you have realized that you've had pretty bad friendships, had pretty bad partners, that you've had pretty bad upbringing, have really bad coping mechanism, that you really don't have any hobbies, you don't really do anything other than go to work, and you've come face to face with all your demons, all the things that you've been putting off for so long because you're too busy, you know, working or going to school or doing whatever it is that you were busy doing because you don't want to face yourself. And now you have no excuse. All you have is that mirror that doesn't want to leave you alone. And that mirror is 2020, by the way. Many people didn't know anything about the Black Lives history. How many of you didn't know that Juneteenth even existed? I didn't know that it existed. I never. And I was baffled that a lot of people don't know who, for example, Rosa Parks is. I'm like, how many of us didn't know the extent of abuse that women went through at home? Domestic violence is huge right now, and it's because 2020 happened. How many of us didn't know that the planet was really dying until we stayed at home and saw wildlife coming to places that people were staying at? How much the pollution has decreased by just a little amount of time that we have spent at home. That's when we realized that the planet was really dying. How many of us have realized that the low worker class, the people who work at restaurants, the people who work at the supermarket, the people who work at the gas station, the people who work night and day, jobs that people look down on, how many of us did not realize that the entire economy is based off of those people that we look down on? Those are the real heroes. How many of us have realized the importance of family, importance of good friendship, importance of a healthy relationship with ourselves? How many of us have realized that we need each other? We're all dependent on each other. Do you understand that? Yes, I support individualism. Go for it. Do your own thing, but we need each other. Don't tell me I don't need nobody. You do. How many have realized that we live in such a fast-paced world? I was one of the people who was like, oh my god, Amazon is taking like a month to ship like a book to me? Like, oh my god. First world problems. Everything is so instant. Everything is right now. Everything is now, go, go, go. And when that stopped, you're like, well, I know now why I'm so impatient. That when something happens that completely on the other side of the planet that has not, that you thought had nothing to do with you, is now affecting the entire world, not just you, the entire world. China is really far away, who cares? But then here we are, friends, here we are. And I'm not saying that China is the problem. What I'm saying is that now is the time to think, if something is happening in another country that might seem like it has nothing to do with me, why should I take part of it? That it's not my business. Well, let me tell you one thing. COVID has proved that it is your business. You don't live in a vacuum. You don't live on your own. You live with other people. And those people have rights. It's not because you have it good that other people shouldn't have it good too. It doesn't mean that you have it good that you're off the hook. No. Life happens. Shit happens every single day. How many times have we wanted more and never had enough to be happy? It's because we didn't realize that all we needed are the basic things. And those are the things that we have deprived ourselves from over and over again by all these things that we distracted ourselves with. And even with all these bad things happening in the world, even with all this famine and injustice, we have always made a way. Always. And it makes me so emotional because it's fascinating. Really, the entire planet is fascinating, whether that be humans or nature or animals or anything. Life is fascinating. With all the good things that happen and all the bad things that happen, humanity is interesting. We always, without no doubt, since we've come down on this earth, we've always found a way to make life work for us. No matter if we're in a war, no matter if there's a freaking pandemic going on, if there's an economical crisis, no, it doesn't matter. We always made it to the other side. Maybe it took years, but we've made it. We've thrived. We have seen the light at the end of the tunnel over and over and over again. And let me tell you one thing. We're going to say it one more time after this COVID. I don't want people to think that 2020, the end of it. Humanity has made its way. We still managed to entertain ourselves, to watch new Netflix series, to listen to new albums released by celebrities staying in their house, making music. Made it happen to take joy in going to the park when no one really wanted to go to the park. Humans are so keen to live. I'm not saying everyone. Some people give up. No one really wants to die. People only want to die because they're having a tough time, and that's it. If you're having a good time, you want to live for as long as you want. We're so obsessed with being alive, with being here on this planet for as much as we can. And so we always trying to find ways out of nothing to make something work. And that is why 2020 is not canceled. Let's say 2020 is the ocean, and there's a lot of pollution in the ocean, and the ocean wants to purify itself. So it's pushing out all of the dirt and all of the waste, putting it on the surface of the water so people can come and take it out, and so it could be fresh and new. Right now, all these horrible things that have surfaced, such as Middle East, with women coming forward and, talking about their abuse at home and in the society. There's sexual harassment and sexual abuse, and really being courageous and finally saying something, at least trying to make a change. We needed this. We needed this to happen. If this didn't happen, we would have lived in the same injustice. We would have completed living with people who have taken so many rights from other people and lived. We would have idealized people that weren't worth our idealization. Now we know that our health system needs us more than ever. Now we know that we're dependent on each other, so now we can be better to one another. Now is the time to give more compassion, because we're finally making change to long corruption, to push the restart button. And that restart button is 2020. This could be a new era, a new revolution to everyone. I'm just getting so emotional right now, because right now 2020 has given us the chance. It is a golden opportunity wrapped in waste. 2020 has shed more light on so many darkness that has come before. The darkness that we were living in, and we thought that was the light. Everyone comes here for a reason. Everything happens here for a reason. And if that reason is for someone to maybe suffer in this world, and if you don't believe in an afterlife, that's fine, but I do, and those people have a better life in the afterlife, but they have come here to serve a purpose. If they came here to suffer, then don't make their suffering go for nothing. With all the technology, with all the information that you have access to at the tip of your thumb, you do not have an excuse to say, well, my parents taught me that way, or my community says this. It's the year 2020. It's about time. Well, it's about time for you to do something about this. It starts from you. And you're going to say, well, what am I going to do? It always started with one person. It is true. Go to any historical thing, and you have seen it always started with one person. And that one person has gathered more people, and those more people made a change. And change doesn't come easy. Change is hard. But change is always worth, because after change, good change, a lot of things look a lot better. And trust me, if it doesn't affect you today, it will affect you one day. So if 2020 has done anything, it has provided us with a golden buzzer. Press on and restart. And you are a fool to let that slide by you. 2020 is our year to end racism, systematic racism. 2020 is the year to bring equality to women and men. 2020 is the year to end famine. 2020 is the year to let the world know about corruption happening in third world countries. 2020 is the year where we stop judging one another. 2020 is the year for compassion. 2020 is the year to seize the moment. 2020 is to reset your priorities. 2020 is the year that you shed your old skin and you are now having the golden glow. 2020 is our year. 2020 is the year. 2020 is a blessing in disguise. 2020 is not canceled. I would just like to show you that completely no AC. I prefer hot rather than cold, and like you're hot, then you're cold, and yes, then you're no. Guys, thanks for coming to episode... Shit, what episode is this? Oh, yeah. Why isn't it? Nobody's coming anywhere. Thank you for watching episode 7. If you really like this, please give it a thumbs up. Share it with other people, please, because I feel people need to hear this. A fun fact, I actually like the number 7. So I guess this is gonna be my favorite episode yet.